What's kind of cool about her is that if you have two of them and you hit the same target, it sets it up so they refresh each other. Hey, thanks so much for checking out the channel. If you're curious about any other hero in Empires and Puzzles, you can view my website at anchorgame.com. There you will find I have graded every single hero with a calibrated team of graders. This resource will always be free. Thinking about supporting the hero grades and the breakdown videos? You're welcome to donate. Otherwise, feel free to share this resource with a friend. I have my exclusive line group called Anchor Cove, where you gain access to myself and tons of other experienced players with on-demand information and resources. If that piques your interest, all that information is on the opening page of my website with a short video. Let me dive into today's hero breakdown. Hey, thanks so much for checking out the channel. Today we are doing a brand new hero breakdown on Valeria. They just came through with the little vampires event, so maybe you picked her up. She's got 609 on her attack, 656 on her defense, and 1196 on her health. Statistically, I'd say she's about average as far as her stats go, especially for a 4-star. Nothing too crazy out of the norm. She is running at very fast speed. She's part of the Return to Morlovia event, which means she gives you a bonus. Anywhere between 2 to 3 heroes, you get 5%, 12% mana generation. This video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. It is a free massive turn-based dark fantasy RPG. To try this game out, all you gotta do, go to the video description, click on the special links. You'll receive 100,000 silver, 1 energy refill, 10 mystery shards, and 1 free champion, Slasher. All your treasure, it's waiting for you right over here. When we look at her hero specials, she deals 235% damage to the target. The target receives 150 damage over 5 turns. If a target already has this effect, the duration will be refreshed and the damage will be increased up to 220, up to 580 damage in total. The caster steals 61% of any healing applied to the target for 3 turns. So she's running at very fast speed. She's only hitting a single target. She's dealing damage to the target and then also putting a dot on the target. Now, an interesting thing to understand is with the duration, as far as if they already have the effect, what's kind of cool about her is that if you have 2 of them and you hit the same target, it sets it up so they refresh each other. So you can actually have the target refresh on 2 separate heroes that are hitting the same target. Is kind of interesting, kind of forces you to use multiple of them. Unfortunately, I'm not a very big fan of this hero. I understand she is running at very fast speed. The 235% damage to the target is definitely something. I'm just not a big fan too much in terms of the dot being set up. Maybe you keep on applying and re-establishing it on the target. But I'm just not a huge fan of what they've done with her. I think that they could have done a little bit better job. Maybe the target nearby enemies set something up to where it's a little bit less. But I'm just not a big fan. So she is part of the monk class heroes, and if you are considering using emblems on her, I would probably go more of a balanced route, because she doesn't really have that high a defense or health total, and her attack definitely needs some work. So I'd probably go a little bit more balanced if you do have to make that decision in terms of emblems. When we look at her Titan grade, she is going to get a C grade there. Obviously, not too much usability. Her attack power is really low at 609, so not a factor at all. And as far as her hero specials goes, they're not going to really impact the Titan board too much. So I'm not a big fan at all. She is going to get a C grade there. When we look at her offensive grade, she is going to get a B grade, and this is probably where she's going to shine the most. Like I mentioned before, you can actually stack double Valerias to where they go onto a single target, they keep refreshing, and essentially you could just burn out the whole hero quite a bit substantially. You're also gaining some life if they do decide to gain some life. So I could see maybe a bit of a factor. You have a lot more control. You're picking a specific hero that you're going to be hitting. So she does get a B grade because there is some usability there. When we look at her defensive grade, she is going to get a C as far as the tank grade goes. Obviously not that much of a factor. She doesn't have a ton of defense or health, and she's only hitting a single target. It is nice that she's running at very fast speed, but the only issue is with her hero special, it goes to a completely random enemy. So if she goes off, I could definitely see to where she goes off, she hits somebody, and then she goes off again, she hits somebody else, and she's just not really doing too much. especially 235 to the target, and then only the 150 over 5 turns. It's just not going to be a factor at all. I'm not a big fan at all setting it up, having her in the tank position. Kind of a similar situation in the flank position. She's going to get another C grade there. Just not a good situation. I know she is running a very fast speed, but it's just not enough damage to really utilize her in any capacity. Where she might have some usability on defense is going to be in the wing. She currently is at a B, but I could definitely see this being brought down to a B- for sure. I'm just not a big fan at all. With her running a very fast speed, 235% to the target, it is a little bit of a factor, but it's just not going to be the best position. Defensively, she is going to get an overall defensive grade of C. Not a big fan. When we look at her weekly raid grade, she is going to get a B on rush attack. This is just because now, especially if you're running on offense, you have a little bit control. But she's already running a very fast speed, so just not really a big factor at all. I wouldn't recommend using her on the rush. Maybe if you have to, if you must, you might be able to use her. Again, these grades are compared against other 4-stars, so there is some possibility there. When we look at her buff grade, she is going to get a C grade. Obviously, she's not really applying any sort of buffs to the situation. Caster stealing 61% of the healing applied for the target for 3 turns. Not really going to do too much. I'm not a big fan at all. She's going to get a C on buff. And on Bloody Battle, she is going to get a B- grade there. She would potentially get more of a B if she didn't have that whole heal factor, which definitely does apply to her when she's on offense. That is a factor. She is running at very fast speed, potentially dealing damage. Maybe there is some usability there. I'm not a big fan of Valeria at all. She is going to get an overall grade of a C. I think that she just doesn't really do too much. She tries to do a lot as a single target, very fast hitter, but unfortunately she falls very short. So I'm not very much impressed with her. Overall C grade. Thanks so much for watching this content. Please make sure you subscribe, you turn the notifications on, and I'll see you on the next video.